Welcome back to the channel. I'm Fausto Carnevale. I'm an Italian accountant, and in this video we'll talk about what you need to avoid when you move to Italy in order to avoid tax audit, in order to avoid that the Agenzia delle Entrate or even the Guardia di Finanza may have a look on you, may do a tax audit. And before starting the video, I will invite you to watch the video that I did last week. We talked about the risk of moving to Italy for high net worth individual. What is the actually probability that the tax audit may have a look at your case? And I assured you that it is not common that you get a tax audit if there is no reason. But today we'll talk about the two main reasons when people get a tax audit in Italy. The first things you have to consider is that the moment you get a VAT number in Italy, the moment you become freelance with a VAT number, VAT position as we call it in Italy, or the moment you start an LLC in Italy called SRL, Limited Responsibility Company, automatically the Agenzia delle Entrate, so for the sake of this video, Agenzia delle Entrate is the tax authority, the Agenzia delle Entrate knows that you may have, let's say, something incorrect in your tax return. So this is the first thing to ask yourself. What are the two main mistakes that I see with my clients? And not only with my clients, of course, because they do a good bookkeeping, a good accounting with me. But sometimes we have new clients, they had an accountant, or sometimes they think they didn't need an accountant. So they move to Italy, and then they are scared because they got a tax audit from the Agenzia delle Entrate. So by the way, the first two mistakes is regarding the VAT payments. So this is the first things that the tax authorities is checking. And this is in Europe in general. They may do not care about the income tax return, but you cannot avoid to pay the VAT if you need to pay the VAT. So there are a lot of penalties in Italy if you don't declare the VAT. There are a lot of penalties if you forgot to pay the VAT, or even worse, if they finds out that you basically have a VAT number, you are obliged to pay the VAT. They assume that you're selling in Italy, and so they may ask, why didn't you declare anything? So this is the first mistake. The second mistake, this is for the electronic invoices. So in Italy we have a system for which you are obliged to do the electronic invoice if you sell in Italy or outside Italy. If you sell with your company or if you sell without your company, meaning you sell with, I don't know, as a freelance. It's the same logic. Impatriate regime in Italy, forfettario regime, company, you have a VAT number. You have to, except for the regime forfettario, forfait regime, you have to do the electronic invoice with the VAT. And if you forget to do the electronic invoice, and we saw this mistake with a client of us, you risk to pay fines between that can arrive to 1,000 euro per missed invoice. Okay? Of course, they don't do 1,000 euro the first time, but let's say you do this mistake several times in your career, you may end up paying a lot of taxes in Italy. Okay? So those are the two main mistakes to avoid. And also consider one thing. In Italy, when they set a limit, a deadline to send a tax return, you have to respect the deadline. Because I think this is also a good way to have a good tax system. Because, for instance, in other countries, even in Belgium, because I also have an office in Belgium, if the deadline is, I don't know, the 20, you send the tax return the 25, nobody cares. They, of course, apply interest if you split a payment, let's say also VAT, especially VAT. But consider this, if you are in Italy and the deadline is 20th of December, you have to send the tax return by the 20th of December. So for instance now, 31 of October, it's a deadline to send the tax return. So be aware of how they can control you. The best things you can do, and we can help you, is to have a look to your tax profile in Italy. In this way, we can see all the electronic invoices that you did, all the electronic invoices that you received. If you have a company, we can also analyze the bookkeeping, and so we can advise you in what is the best way to check and to adjust your position before the tax audit may do a control, okay? So if you need more information, you can contact me at info@ESENtaxa.com. You can even put in the message Fausto, urgent matter, Fausto, because I normally, if there is an urgent matter, if we have a lot of clients, even if we have a lot of work, I still try to reply directly to you ASAP, as soon as possible. So don't forget to send us an email if you need additional information. We are accountants, chartered accountant in Italy. We can do any tax return, tax simulation, and anything you need for your specific case. We do also administrative support, and we do also the visa project, permesso di soggiorno, as you know in Italia, in a collaboration with some lawyers. So those are my contacts. You can check in the description also. Until next time, Fausto Carnevale, and enjoy your staying in Italy.